About to share is not the kind of thing you're going to hear in a press conference or a polished news release. Canada's housing crisis is not just bad, it's worse than most people can even wrap their heads around. And I'm not pulling this out of thin air. I'm not quoting some activist or a think tank. What I'm about to tell you comes straight from Ottawa's own internal documents, the stuff they never thought you and I would be looking at. So here's what those documents reveal. Number one, the cost of building a home in this country has gone up by 58% since 2020. 58% in just 5 years. That's not a little bump. That's not regular inflation. That is a full-blown construction cost crisis. Number two, those same documents admit that families are staying in shelters longer than ever before, which is a polite way of saying once you fall out of the housing market, once you lose stable housing, there's no ladder back in. And number three, the government itself admits that housing is no longer just a personal crisis for families. It is now dragging down the Canadian economy, not just hurting households, not just stressing people out, actually holding back the entire country's growth. Now, let's pause here because I want you to really feel the weight of this. For years, people have been saying, oh, housing is bad, it's tough, but it'll balance itself out. No, Ottawa's own insiders are admitting it's not balancing out. It's getting worse. And their big move, their big shiny answer is they've announced a brand new agency called Build Canada Homes. Sounds nice, sounds promising, but here's the question we have to ask. Is this actually a solution, or is this just Ottawa slapping a new label in the same broken system and hoping you'll buy it? Hey there, I'm Claudia Ragona. I want to talk to you like we're sitting across the table, coffee in hand, because this is real. If you thought the housing market was tough before, if you've been wondering how much worse it can get, these leaked notes show it's a whole lot worse. And in the second half of this conversation, I'm going to walk you through what Build Canada Homes is supposed to do and what it really means for you. Whether you're renting, trying to buy, or just hanging onto your mortgage, you need to hear this. And if you're looking for unfiltered truth, please hit subscribe because what's coming next is going to connect a lot of dots you've probably been thinking about yourself. So let's talk about this reality because this isn't just about numbers on paper, it's about people. Number one, housing supply is completely behind. We simply don't have enough homes. And number two, rent is climbing faster than your pay. You don't need me to tell you that. You've probably seen your own rent jump by hundreds of dollars in the past year. And it's not a fluke. It's the new normal. Number three, middle-class families, the ones who used to feel secure, are getting squeezed right out of the market. And it's not just low-income households anymore. Professionals, families with good jobs, steady pay, they're all being priced out of both renting and buying. Number four, shelters are filling up and the people are staying there longer, which means once you slip, you don't climb back out. And number five, newcomers, the very people Canada relies on to grow our economy, are taking the hardest hit. We invite people here, tell them there's opportunity, and then leave them scrambling because there's no place they can find. And that's not me exaggerating. That's Ottawa's own notes. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, Claudia, that's bad, but why is this happening? Let's talk about the forces behind this. First, construction costs. They're exploding. We're talking 58% since 2020. That's lumber, concrete, steel, labor. Everything costs more. And on top of that, American tariffs are making it worse. Developers even slow down or pass the cost to buyers. Either way, families lose. Second, policy failure. Ottawa admits they're falling behind on below market housing. That's the affordable stuff that should have been built years ago and it wasn't, and now we're paying the price for it. Third, investors. More and more homes are being treated as investment assets instead of actual places to live. Families aren't competing with neighbors anymore. They're competing with corporations and they are losing. Fourth, immigration pressures. Canada's population has grown at record pace. And listen, I'm not against immigration, but let's be honest, we grew the population without building the homes. More demand with no supply. It's simple math. And fifth, and this is the hidden bombshell in those documents, and that is productivity. Housing costs are literally holding Canada back. Think about that. When you're spending half of your income on housing and you're not starting a business, you're not buying a new car, you're not saving for retirement, and when workers can't even move to where their jobs are because housing is unaffordable, the whole economy slows down. So when you put it all together, this isn't just a housing crisis, it's an economic crisis, and Ottawa clearly knows it. Now let's go into those internal memos, because this is where it gets shocking. They admit three huge things. First, the middle class is losing access to housing, not activists saying it, not economists predicting it, the government's own notes. Second, productivity is being hit because families can't move. And that's huge. It means the crisis isn't just social, it's national. And third, they admit the system is unsustainable and it's not broken temporarily, it's unsustainable. And this is what makes me furious. These aren't outsiders warning Ottawa. This is Ottawa writing to itself. They knew this was coming and they let it slide. So what's Ottawa's answer? Well, they roll out a brand new agency called Build Canada Homes. And here's what it's supposed to do. First, it's supposed to speed up construction. Second, use modern building tech like prefabs and modular homes to cut the costs. And third, finally deliver more affordable housing. It sounds good, right? But here are the questions we need to ask. First, why only now? Why wait until the system is cracking before acting? Second, is one shiny new agency really enough to undo years of failure? And lastly, is this a real plan or just a political label they can wave around at a press conference? Because if Build Canada Home actually works, it could shift the market. But if it doesn't, Canadians are staring down another decade of pain. So what does this all mean for you? Well, let's get practical. If you're a homeowner, more supply might cool the market eventually, but it won't fix your payments next year. And if you're renting, relief might come down the road, but don't expect it this year. Not the rent hikes we've been seeing. And if you're an investor, you need to really hear this. For years, real estate in Canada has been treated like a one-way ticket to wealth. You buy a condo, you sit on it, you flip it, you rent it out, repeat. And that's been the game. But those internal government documents, they flat out say housing is now an economic drag. Think about that. The very thing that built so many fortunes in this country is now holding the economy back. And that doesn't sound like a guaranteed retirement plan to me. That sounds like risk. So if you're banking your future on the idea that housing prices will go up, you might want to think twice, because even Ottawa is waving the caution flag. So what is the bottom line? Well, the crisis is here and it's not disappearing tomorrow. So let me wrap this up in 3 points. The first, housing costs have jumped 58% since 2020. That is breaking families and clearly breaking the economy. Second, Ottawa knew this was coming. The leaked documents prove it. And third, Build Canada Homes might help, but it's not a magic wand. Canadians need to be prepared now. So let me ask you this. Do you think the housing market will ever go back to being affordable for the next generation, or is that dream gone for good? I want to hear your take in the comments, because the community needs your voice. And of course, like this video, share it, and hit subscribe, because the conversations aren't ending here. We've got a lot more to unpack together.